Hi there, John here again. Welcome to Microaces Workshop, part 9 of the new SE5a version 2 build. Where are we? Well, we've created a biplane, that's for sure. Top wing is on, and we've only got a few more steps to go. I think we're on the home straight, as they say in racing. I think it's racing, isn't it? Home straight. Yes. Um, so let's just go down onto the build board. There we go. We've had a bit of a camera change. If you've been watching the previous episodes, you see that we had a bit of camera freezing and that sort of stuff. So I've changed the camera. I'm not sure whether it's a focusing issue here. But we'll get through it and cool. So anyway, what have we got left to do? Well, obviously we've got a fair bit to do to the nose of the aircraft. The tail is just about there. We've got to rig that. Obviously, we've got to put our control lines in too. We've got to tighten the rigging as well. Now that the top wing is on, we can do that. But as you'll remember from the previous videos, we have two wheels to actually add to the system as well. Now, we haven't put the tyres on yet, and the reason for that is we were letting the glue set. Well, it's been setting for about a week now since I last sat down to do this video, so we can crack on and do that. Focusing, is that going to be an issue? Well, we'll carry on and see what gives. So anyway, fitting the tyres is pretty much just popping them on like that. Now we can secure them if we want, but it seems to be okay. On with the next one. There we go. And then we've got somewhere, we've got our axle as well. So the idea is that you put one of the wheels on and then thread that through the undercarriage and put the other wheel on. So what we'll do is attach our first wheel first. So I'll just get a little bit of the U-hoo onto the end of the axle, and then pop that into the wheel so it comes through just a couple of millimeters the other end, and away we go. So I'm actually going to just pop that to one side to let that glue dry, and we'll do the rest later. We'll bring on the SE5a again, get our tweezers at the ready, and let's start with tightening up the rigging. Now, if you remember where you initially started the rigging, it was down, we used two pieces of continuous rigging line, and we started at the bottom of the undercarriage, knotted it, and then threaded it through on either the port or the starboard side. So if you notice, if I pull on that, then the undercarriage moves. So this is going to determine how the undercarriage is set. So I'm just going to follow the thread around, pulling it through just so it's reasonably tight. In fact, I'm just going to use fingers here, it's probably easier. And you'll notice that there's a bit of resistance in the holes that the rigging goes through. It sort of grips on. They're shaped so that when it's pulled tight, it should cleat essentially into position. So that's one side done. I'm just going to go around just to make sure I've got it all. Now, concentrating silence. And then this final thread here, what we're actually going to do, where it comes out the bottom of the wing, is we're going to glue it just along the edge of the rear of that rib that you can probably see there, down along that rib, just here. But what I'll do, I'll just leave that for now, and just attend to the other side. Just following the pattern that we used to thread the ring in the first place, and just keep pulling through. Hopefully those cleated holes will hold to some extent. And then the last thing to do is to just look. I'll show this to get rid of myself for now. There we go. And once rigged, just check that the wings are have equal dihedral, and also that we've eliminated any twist in either the top or bottom wing. And most of any twist should come out once the top wing's on, but the rigging and how you pull that through can affect the outcome. So just make a visual check, make sure that everything is as it should be, and also make sure the undercarriage itself is it's not lopsided in any way. There we go. So once I'm happy with that, what I'm going to do now is just lock the thread. If I can, I'm just going to use my knife to loosen a little section of that rib from the wing, so I can just tuck the thread under and hopefully keep the tension. So let's see what we can do here. So there's one side done. That's not taken, so let's give that another go. Cool. Everything's still square. I'm actually going to use a little of my CA glue. Now this should cure. I'll just put a little tip on it. This is Rocket Odorless. It's made by Deluxe Materials. It's something that's available in the UK. I don't know about other countries, but it's a foam safe CA. That's important, obviously. If it's not foam safe, then it's going to melt your aircraft. I'm just going to run a bead that into the area where the thread lies. That one's come loose. Just for a few seconds to pull it tight before it all sets. That's fine. So I've finished with that tip. Here's a tip for the tip. I tend to knock the glue out on the edge, and then I've got a little wire here. I'll just thread the wire through, and then just put that to one side. That will dry stick, but I can pull the wire out once it's set, so we can reuse that. So leave our thread to settle there, cure, and then we've got our wheels. And what we can do now, as the aircraft is sitting upside down, just thread that through the one side to the other, and as you can see, we've probably got a little bit of excess material. I'm just going to pop, whoop, come back, and then see how much we've got to remove. Yep, it can be done with scissors. There we go. What I'm going to do now, just to tidy things up, take that off for now. Take that out. Just going to sand off the little burrs that have been created by scissoring that to size. Pop it back in. Put a little dollop of Yoo-hoo. Onto the axle, and we'll fit our other wheel, and that'll be that. There we go. And our wheels are nice and free running. Got a little of our threads has come adrift. Still, that's all looking nice and straight. So, fantastic. Okay. Well, we can put that to one side now, and we can start on building the nose section of it. Before we do that, I'm going to see if I can do anything about this focusing issue that's plaguing us at the moment. So we've got the wheels on. They're glued. The rigging has been locked in place. We'll let that set for a while before removing the excess tails that we've got, and generally we can now start on the nose area. So let's have a look what we've got. For that, let's pop this to one side, and then let's get in the bits and pieces we need. Well, first of all, in here we have some parts we need, not the control rods at this particular time, or the 2D pilot, but the magnets. They're little 3mm by 1mm neodymium magnets. I'll just pop them over there for now. They are a delicacy for the carpet monster, so just try and keep them out of harm's way. Preferably have something metal to stick them to. So yeah, there are scissors there. Pop them on the scissors. If I forget where they are, you can tell me. Let's just pop that to one side. So nose-wise on the aircraft, we have a chin, and also the sort of a chin that sits on the front area here, and then the hatch goes on top of that. And there are the magnets are used for holding the hatch in place. So we'll make the chin. At the same time we make the chin, we're going to make the front of the hatch as well. It's a good technique to build them both together, so that when you build the hatch, everything fits neatly together, so you're minimizing any gaps and that sort of thing. Because obviously on the full-scale aircraft, the front was the radiator and it was a single piece. We've subdivided that so we can gain access to our controls and insert the battery, that sort of thing. So the less gapping that we have, the better, and it looks more realistic. So I'm sure we've got some 2mm bits. Untangle all my parts. There we go. Yep. And we've got some on the new build. We've also got some 1mm bits too. So tell you what we'll do. Let's get rid of the excess on that. That has got a few pieces on. It's just that is Z21. We're going to need that for the hatch, but I'll put that to one side for now. But that's not to be thrown away. Keep hold of that. So we've got our Z1 and Z19. Let's look at our plastics. So plastics wise, that's an important piece there, P18. But that's for hatch, so we don't need that just yet. But what we do need is P8 and P18. Let's just grab those. Okay. They are actually two parts, but we will subdivide those in a second. Nothing from there at the moment. And on here, let's get our chin pieces. There we go. And we'll leave it at that for now. Oh no, we'll take these off as well. Oh, come on. As one. Leave. We won't leave. We won't leave anything behind. We'll leave our piece here with our P33 plastic reinforcement part that we put in probably at the on the first video. So if my memory serves me right, we just stack those up like so. They're all exactly the same shape, apart from two of them have a little dip at the top, and that's just to receive the magnets in place. So that's great. I'm just going to check something whilst we're here. You don't have to do this. I just want to make sure that I've made the right call. Okay, I'm just checking the width of the stickers that will go on the side of these, just to make sure we've got them wide enough. Okay, let's just stick those together. So it's the same old technique with the Yoo-hoo. A little bit on there. Pop that on there. Take it apart and we'll wait for that to dry off somewhat before bringing it back together again. And this on the other side of that one piece. Go. Give it a swivel around. Let's bring these together now. And go. Fabulous. And then I'm just wondering whether we actually need the Z1 and Z19. Check that thickness again, because that's pretty perfect going on the side of here. If we put another 1 mil, then that's probably going to be too much. And then we'll have white showing through. So I don't think we're going to need the Z1 and the Z19. So either I'll leave it on there as spares for you, or we'll take it off. So what I'm going to do now is just a little bit of sanding, just to get these sides and bottom even. When that sticker goes on, if there are any ridges, of course, then that'll, because the stickers are so thin, you probably see the ridges through the sticker itself. The other thing I don't want to do is make it smaller than the nose itself. So, I know we've still got a way to go. Still got some material to remove before we make that mistake. Yeah, so this build is actually it's a prototype build. This is the first one of the version 2 that I have built. So in the design process, sometimes these little mistakes are made in measurement. So that's going to position itself on there. And over the top of this, we have our plastic part. So I will just tidy up. There we go. And then that just sits on the front of those parts there, like so. I'm actually the magnets I'm actually going to stick towards the rear of the chin. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you do exactly the same on the top as well, because obviously you want the magnets to come together accurately. So anyway, let's get the plastic part on. So again, get a little bit of the glue on both parts, pull them apart, and then wait for them to dry. The reason we do this, and I've probably explained this in previous video, is it allows for an almost instant bond. It also allows the glue to dry a lot quicker than if you just press them together and left them. So hopefully speeding up the build process at the same time. So whilst that, well, actually, that is probably dry by now, just to show you how rapid it can be. So we'll pop that on there. Brilliant. And then we're going to put a couple of magnets into the general area. So, well, leave my magnets there for now. What I'm going to do, just pop some glue into those little divots. And then just let the glue dry. And then pop the magnets in. So let's just set that aside for a second or two, and then we'll crack on with the front of the hatch at the top. So there is a slight change over and above the first version of this kit. First created, I think I first designed it in about 2014, 2015. So 5 years ago. That's a long time. We've built a few aircraft since, or I've designed a few aircraft since then, and learnt a lot. So hopefully some of that reflects in the in this new build. As with version 1, we've got these little holes in this front part, and that's actually to accept the, and got one here. If you've got a nice large or long battery, then the idea is that when you put the battery into the hatch, you can actually slide it forward and put the base of it into the cavity that's created through all of these parts. So the nose itself, actually, rather than having the 3 bits that the chin does, it has a 4th, which acts as a sort of a seat for the front of the skin of the hatch to sit on, and that's that piece there. I'll finish those off once they're all stuck together. There we go. Oh, I was worried that I wasn't being recorded, or my voice wasn't being recorded there for a second. I've had to go back to the beginning again. So anyway, let's get the glue onto these parts, bring them together, pull them apart, same again. Together, apart. Okay. And of course, just ensure they all line up nicely, especially across the base there, because obviously that's going to sit on top of the chin part that we've just created. So there we go. And then this other part, that actually sits, and you have a little gap around there, a little step where the skin will sit, and hopefully butt up flush with the edge of the nose here. I'm going to leave that off for a second, just tidy the edges of this up. Now there's another little trick that you can do if you want really smooth edges, and that is to keep sanding down and then just cut a strip of paper and just add that to the edge, and that just softens any of the undulations that that might be occurring. I'm going to go for light as possible, so I'm not going to add any paper. It would be negligible. Okay. Now, knowing that the little divots on my chin, which this sits onto, are rearmost, I'll put that rearmost as well. I will fit this, but that needs a little bit of sanding too. Let's just get that done. It doesn't matter if this has a particularly rough edge to it, because this is just going to act as a seat on which the 1mm foam skin is going to sit. I just want to make sure we've got around about a 1mm gap all the way around. Yeah, so I'm going to glue that, put that in place, and then what we'll do is get the front part of the plastic part of the nose on, and that's when we want to start comparing our chin with the upper part of the nose. Up there. I'm just going to take that apart for a few seconds, just to give the glue time to evaporate. Okay, whilst that's doing, I'm going to grab a couple of magnets and pop them into the holes provided. Now I'm going to push it as far forward as I can in the two holes. The two holes obviously span across 4mm and the magnet is 3, so I'm just pushing it to the forwardmost part up against the that first part of the stack. Same again with the second one. That glue is getting close to drying now, so that should hold the magnets in place. So you can push them push them a little firmer into the foam just to get them seated. There we go. Make sure they're flush at the top of the foam. That's great. So let's put our rear piece on. Let's get that lined up with the other holes. There we go. And then we've got a little gap all the way around the outer edge that 1mm skin can sit on once we've got it assembled. And I think it needs scoring too. So there we go. Good. So this and this sit together like so at the front of the aircraft. So what we need to do now is attach our plastic part onto the nose there, and notice a little bit, just me being silly. No, that looks, oh, that's sitting fairly low, so looks like we've just got a little bit of excess material, maybe not even a millimetre. So I'm going to remove that using my ruler and scalpel, but I'll make the adjustment if I remember, so that you don't have to. I'm going to remove just a shaving. It's probably around about 2/3 of a millimetre. So probably could take a little more. Let's just sand down the base a little more, just to flatten that off somewhat. Don't want to overdo this though. I'll just take a tiny bit more. So let's say a millimetre to come off. Better remember that when it comes to adjusting it, which I'll do once we've shot the video. That's better. So when they come together, our graphics we want matching up. And any gapping to be absolutely minimal. So let's adhere this onto the front here. Just going to pop that on. Get the glue on both surfaces. Take apart to dry for a second or two. Go. Whilst that's happening, I'm just going to put a spot of glue in the little recessed hole at the front there. That's the position of one of our atch magnets. So let's do that. Just pop it in there. Little wire just to make sure I've got plenty into the hole itself. Some strands. Excellent. Right, now let's bring this part onto here. Make sure they marry up appropriately. There we go. It's good. Yeah, like that. So at the moment, everything is pretty much as was with the first version of this kit. Now we're going to make a few little changes. Where's my parts? Okay. So firstly, we've got some plastic radiator parts. Now, these just make a little bit of scale difference at the front of the aircraft. Just raising the radiator up slightly off the front of the aircraft. Previously, it was just obviously everything was just printed on the one sheet. Everything was on the same graphic, but what we're going to do is raise these off slightly just to give it a more scale feel. So we've got two to sit on the lower portion of the front of the aircraft. So there and there on that side too, and then obviously two on the top as well. So just to make sure everything fits. This is when precision counts. So a little bit of glue onto the back of that. Lay that in place. The underlying graphic on the nose part actually shows you a sort of a light area in which to attach your parts. This is a little additional step, but hopefully provide you with a little more realism to the front of the SE5. And radiator parts. And funnily enough, I mean, I find the SE5a to be quite an attractive biplane aircraft, but I think at the time it was thought of as quite ugly. Although obviously its performance was particularly good, and pilots really enjoyed flying it. It was a very stable gun platform, as well as being very manoeuvrable and reliable. But I believe it was known as, well, one of the nicknames for it was the Flying Doghouse, because of the sort of a rather brutal front end that we're just creating here. Okay. It should be pretty obvious as to which one goes where. So this is the point where we can start comparing, make sure we've got things well lined up. And you notice I'm not using my drying technique for this. I'm just putting them straight on, and that means I've got a little bit of wiggle time for them. They'll take longer to set in place, but it means I can move them around in the meantime. Those. And that can probably do with shifting out towards the edge a bit. There. There. You see, it's much better. There. So let those set now. And the other little touch that we've got for the front end of this aircraft is just a little contoured part at the top of the radiator that we have to create using the Z21, which is a tiny little piece of 1mm foam. Keep that sprue. We've still got Z22 on there. So this tiny little piece of foam, and that's actually just going to attach to the top of the radiator grill there. Pop it in place. And then we're just going to very lightly sand a curved edge to the top, which is more akin to the radiator on the SE5a. So just going to pop that into place. And because we're going to sand it, I want it to set well before I start sanding it, otherwise it'll just move around all over the place. So we'll leave it there to set, and whilst we leave that to set, we will carry on with finishing off our chin part of the SE5. We need stickers. So there are actually 3 stickers for this job. Firstly, we'll go with S18. Okay, so this goes across the bottom of the aircraft. Now those 2 lines on the sticker that sit centrally, they should correspond with the lines down the radiator itself. So I'll just marry that up there. There we go. And then I'm just going to fold the rest of the sticker over the edge there. There we go. So that's all on nicely. Now we have 2 side stickers, S17s. There we go. No, sorry, not S17. S17's are little round stickers. This is S19 and S20. So S19. Right. So just sits up the side of the chin and the excess sticker folds over and acts as a retaining sticker for our magnet as well, which is nice. So, fantastic. Stuck down. Now we can do the other side. So throwing its parts around. Okay. It's 20 it is. Because I've sanded the sides down, I'm not noticing any ridging, which is good. Once again, using the knife as a pressing down tool. Be careful when you're using it around magnets, though. You don't want to pull the magnets out of their sockets. There we go. The metal still looks pretty good. Actually, still got a little bit of wiggle on those parts, just to make sure everything still lines up. So there's our little front piece doing. Looks all right. Right, sanding. Use the light side of my sanding stick, and then just create a curved edge on the top curve of that part that we put on. You see the plastic that it sits on is much harder material, so it doesn't readily sand. So we can use it as a sort of a stop to stop us sanding off more than we have to at the outer edges of the material, and then just concentrate on creating that subtle curve front. Okay, that looks good enough for me. Now what we've got to do is apply the sticker over the top. Now, this is quite a complex sticker, certainly in the center. This is our S30. Let's get it started, and then we'll be careful how we peel off that center part. There are a few nicks and folds. We don't want the sticker to split, so just going to take the vast majority of it off and then pull forward here. If we can't, there we go. Off it comes. So the idea is that this sits with that magnetic attraction. Or is that gravity? Made it fall over. Now, because we don't have to stick all the way back to the back edge of this part, because that last part of the stack of 2mm Depron is where the skin is going to sit. So we can come forward of that. Let's get our tweezers, then I can get my big fat fingers out of the way and see more of what's going on. So lining it up. Not far enough back. Maybe not. How's that looking? So we should now be able to, that middle bit is going to go over last. So just bring our side parts down. So I'll get those done first. As you can see, I've just lightly applied it at the moment, so I can make adjustments as I go. Oh, look, still getting movement. My radiator piece moved. Covers the side, and then we'll fold our sticker down over the sanded bit, and then tuck it up underneath. Use the back of the blade. Just to push the sticker down. That can be used for smoothing as well. Just delicately position the stick. Here goes for the other side. Smooth the sticker down and then tuck it under. Okay. And you can bring that central piece down. Over the front there. Once again, tuck it up under, and there. Actually, I'm very, very happy with that. Means that's the first time I've done it. That's looking pretty good. I think it looks more like the SE5 radiator than it did before, so that's what we wanted to achieve. That's good. Happy with that. Okay, now before I fold these down, I need to add some magnets here. So what I'm going to do is add the glue. Actually, apart from putting it in the hole, I'm just going to spread it around a bit. So this will give the sticker an extra stick, because obviously it's, apart from the glue, it's there to stop the magnets drifting. So or coming detached when you're taking the hatch on and off all the time. So that's going to work well. Okay, so how do we determine which magnets go where now? Because obviously we've got our magnets in the lower part of our nose, and they have a polarity. If you just go and install magnets into the top of the nose radiator piece, then you're quite likely to get one or both around the wrong way, and then the hatch actually pushes away from the body of the aircraft rather than attaches it to the body of the aircraft. So what I do is I just pop magnet there and there, so it's actually sitting on top of the already installed magnets, and then using my knife I just take off the magnet like so, and I need to install it into the corresponding hole like so. So we're going as far forward as possible. Just draw the knife off, and there we have it. It's in place. It's in the right orientation, the right polarity, and that should now pull towards the corresponding nose piece. So we'll do the same again with our other magnet. Just sweep that off using the knife, trying not to cut anything, and then just pop that into the corresponding hole. There we go. Try not to get too much glue on the knife, of course, but if you do, just wipe it off away from the blade. Never wipe it that way. I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? That's obvious. So there we go. And then I'm using non-magnetic materials to push these magnets home. So there we go. And I'm just going to let the glue dry off slightly before actually putting the final sticker over. So I'll just pop that to one side. So let's get this this finished off, and I think that'll then be time up on this particular segment. I thought we'd get a little bit further along, but there we go. I'm probably talking too much or doing too much. Well, so put our stickers over our magnet now for our top hatch piece. And now what we'll do is we will attach our chin to the front of our aircraft. So let's do that. Okay. So once again, glue on onto both surfaces, and off. So whilst that is drying, let's just pop our magnet into the former that's been drying off. So nearly in. Quite a tight fit. Oh, there we go. That's lovely. Perfect. So what I'm going to do with that there now, as it sits, is get one of my little round stickers, my S17s that I mistook for the side parts of the nose previously. just get that, cover the magnet over with it. Hey presto, we're in business. So press it down nice and firmly, and that'll stop our little magnet coming out when we take the hatch on and off. I'll just use the knife to contour the sticker to the surface. There we go. Good. The other thing you can do if the magnet has drifted into the part is just go over, just pop the metal knife over the sticker, and that'll draw it forward, and then hopefully the glue will dry off over a period of time, and it'll hold fast. So there we go. Let's just pop that there. Right, nose on. So it should be pretty obvious as to where this actually goes. Just want to make sure that it's flush with the bottom of the aircraft, and it's also square. So the last thing you want is it going off to one side or the other, because that won't look good. And then, dare I do it, for fear of the magnets popping out, the glue hasn't set, but well, let's do it. Have that on. So what we can do is just make sure our radiator parts match up, they line up nicely. We do have a little line showing there, but I think we can get away with that. It's fine. Yeah. Happy with that. Just push these down a little bit further. We might get the hatch closing some of those little gaps. Because the foam is nice and squishy, it's don't feel that you have to hold back. The more you can do now, the less you'll have to do later with tidying things up like that, and it'll all look much better. So at the moment, it's just the magnet standing a little proud that is creating the gapping. So if I just push everything down, I won't bring these back together to check, because probably they'll end up pulling the magnets out again because the glue hasn't fully set. But there we go. We've got our nose piece created now. We've got our wheels on, which is fantastic. We've got the chin in place. So the next thing we're going to do is just build up the hatch itself. And we don't need Z19 or Z1, thank you very much. So I'll remove that from the kit. That'll cause silence and headaches with finalising the manual, but there we go. What can I say? Brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much for watching. Once again, I hope your build is going as well as mine. I'm very much looking forward to getting it finished and getting it in the air. Anyway, see you in the next episode.